Hey guys, how are you doing today? This is the second episode of our We Are Back podcast series, and we're back with the Thursday's episode as promised in our previous podcast. As we're going to discuss some latest news from the motoring world, from the two wheeler world. So let's dive in. Let's dive into the podcast and discuss some latest news and headlines that happened in the two wheeler world this week. So let's start the podcast. So welcome back, guys. As I told you in the intro, today's Thursday's episode is going to be about discussing the news and the major headlines from the two-wheeler world. Headlines relating to the motorsport news and general news about two-wheelers and what happened in the world of two-wheelers in the previous week. So let us start with some major headlines. To begin this episode, first we'll do a recap of what happened, because as you know, we had not been producing podcasts in the while. MotoGP had begun and we were not able to discuss the races, and last week World Superbike also started. So we'll first discuss what happened in the two MotoGP races and one World Superbike race, and then we'll discuss the general stories in the news bulletin. So let's begin with the first story, where we'll just round up the race results and review of MotoGP. MotoGP finally started with two of the rounds taking place in the Jerez circuit, as we called it Spanish GP. The first race was called the Spanish GP, and the second race was called Andalusia GP. And basically it happened in the same circuit. So it was a historic moment, as finally the riders were able to come out and race together. So there's a ceremony that happened, a pre-season ceremony that happened in the Jerez circuit, where all the teams and riders took part. And then we got to know that the season has been shortened to 17 races, with the race schedule mostly based in Europe. So with that, free practice sessions and warm-up started. Most of the riders looked pretty good, with a few riders suffering crashes in Q2. The main ones were Alex Rins and Cal Crutchlow, who suffered really bad crashes in the Q2 and the warm-up laps. So they were declared unfit to start the race. So this led to the 20 riders, usual 22 riders, which were there in the starting grid. So it was a very intense start to all the races, as Maverick Vinales showed the best pace among all the riders. He was one of the best riders in the free practice and qualifying sessions, and it looked like Maverick Vinales will be the man this season, this shortened season of 17 races. And he showed his fantastic race pace right from the start, where he decided on a very important soft tire choice, which seemed to have paid off initially, as he got away from the front, where Marc Marquez then was right on his toes. Maverick Vinales showed fantastic pace and he zoomed off from the start. When Marc Marquez was in the middle of the battle with Maverick Vinales, he suffered a bad slide and skidded. As he skidded towards the gravel in turn 4, he lost the positions to Maverick and other riders, but he somehow managed to keep his bike from completely skidding on the gravel as Vinales took the lead. What happened with Vinales is very interesting, as the race was being held in very intense heat and high temperatures. Because he chose softer compound tires for his bike, he pushed too hard and later on suffered a tire degradation problem, which led him to slip 2 places to third, which he eventually reclaimed 1 position to finish the race in second place. So because of the softer tires, Maverick Vinales was not able to compete for the first position. Marc Marquez started to push for the front, as all of you know that he is a winner. He wants to win every race. He was pushing too hard. Although he suffered slide, that did not deter him to push hard to go in the front. As he was pushing too hard, he lost the front end again in the high side turn 5, which led to a massive or a huge crash. When everyone saw him after the crash, he was holding his shoulder as if the shoulder had been damaged really bad. The rider looked in pain as he left for the medical treatment. So all these things added up to the excitement, but it was a really bad day for Marc Marquez as he suffered a really bad crash. So unfortunately, he went away to the hospital and could not take part in the race. As we talk about Marc Marquez, we have to talk about Andre Dovizioso, who was his main competitor last season. He made a pretty solid start as the race progressed. He put out consistent laps to reach fourth in the race. He then pushed hard and took the third spot from Miller and eventually grabbed the final podium place when the checkered flag was shown. So he had a pretty decent race where he just rode his Ducati at a very consistent pace, as his partner Danilo Petrucci had a very mediocre race and he suffered through a painful shoulder to finish in ninth spot. So the top three positions were settled as Vinales took second and Andre Dovizioso took third. The Frenchman Fabio Quartararo, who was a revelation last season, even though he was not a part of the Yamaha factory team, he started the race in pole position, had a tremendous race pace from the start, and as the race progressed, he became stronger and stronger as he zipped through the laps to capture the top position. This was a huge achievement for this French rider, as it was the first time in 24 years when a French rider won the Premier Class race in two-wheel racing. So it was a phenomenal race, Spanish GP, with race results as follows. Fabio Quartararo was first. Maverick Vinales came second. Andre Dovizioso was third. Jack Miller, who had a fantastic race before he was robbed of the final podium position by Andre Dovizioso, was tremendous. He was at fourth. Fabio Quartararo's teammate Franco Morbidelli showed brilliant pace and he was fifth. Pol Espargaro, who is riding for Red Bull KTM factory team, came in sixth. Francesco Bagnaia, who qualified in fourth position, was eventually seventh. Miguel Oliveira, who is from the Red Bull KTM Tech 3 team, came in 8th. Danilo Petrucci, who was facing tremendous shoulder pain, finished in 9th. Takaki Nakagami, riding for the LCR Honda team, finished 10th. Johann Zarco, another French rider, finished 11th. Alex Marquez, the brother of Marc Marquez, finished 12th. Brad Binder finished 13th. Tito Rabat finished 14th and Bradley Smith finished 15th. There were few people who had problems, out of which Marc Marquez, who had a bad clash, he did not qualify. Iker Lecuona, who faced some problems, technical difficulties, he was left out. Valentino Rossi, who faced some technical problems, he did not finish the race. Alex Espargaro and Joan Mir had really bad races as they faced a lot of difficulties to complete the race. Now, after the first race, another race took place in the same Jerez circuit, which was called Andalusia GP. Again, it was a hot and muggy Sunday where the second race of the 2020 season took place. The riders were feeling the heat as they got ready to fight for positions in the race. The grid lined up with Fabio Quartararo taking the pole position, the new man of the moment, with Maverick Vinales taking second and Francesco Bagnaia took third. While Rossi, yes, Valentino Rossi, the doctor, he took the fourth position after a long while when he started off in the front of the second row. So as the race started, it started on a very cracking note, in a cracking fashion, as Fabio Quartararo took the lead. Maverick Vinales and Valentino Rossi made sharp start as they took second and third positions respectively. Now in the first turn, as the race went on, temperatures went up drastically, creating a... Now as the race went on, temperatures went up drastically, creating a huge problem for the riders. Now, because of the high temperatures, race saw plenty of engine failures as Franco Morbidelli engine had a complete failure while Pecco Bagnaia's engine started to release smoke. So both of them, because of these issues, had to leave the races. Being the race it was, a lot of riders faced crashes. Danilo Petrucci, who rides for Ducati, and Jack Miller crashed out of the race, fighting for their respective positions. Marc Marquez, before the race started, was actually declared unfit to take part in the second round of championship. So this was a really bad news for all the Marquez fans who wanted to see him on the top, and it's a very bad news for Marc Marquez himself because he wants to win every race. If we talk about other riders, Takaki Nakagami had a fantastic race as he finished in his career highest fourth position. He was followed by Joan Mir, who fought off the competition to reach fifth at the time of checkered flags. Andre Dovizioso of the Ducati finished on sixth position. And finally, the news of the day was Rossi. Yes, Valentino Rossi, the doctor, who rode a phenomenal race after a long time, was able to finish the race in third position. Yes, he was second at one point of time, but as he managed to lose that position, battled, eventually finished in third position. It was a brilliant race for him. He finally, after a long time, we saw the doctor in the podium. He was very happy with the race result, and at his age, it is a brilliant achievement as he is breaking all the records, and we hope to see him battling out for the top positions. As we all know, he's a legend of the sport. He has already signed a new 2-year contract, so he will be there in MotoGP for the next 2 years, and we hope that in the rest of the season we see him in a lot more finishes, and as the fans want to see him fight for the top positions. So good news for Rossi as he finished third, and of course Maverick Vinales, his teammate, rode a phenomenal race again to finish in second position. Maverick was supposed to be the man to beat this season as he was 2 seasons before, but again he fell short of the first position because, as you all know, the man of the moment, Fabio Quartararo, showed a dominating race pace as he was there in the front from the start and won his second consecutive race to finish first twice in 2 weeks. Now this is a sort of record for any French rider or any rider in a long time. It was the first time in 24 years a French rider had won the race, and now he became the first French rider to win 2 races in the row. So congratulations to Fabio Quartararo. It looks like he is the man to beat this season. Let's see what happens in other races, because we can't judge him on 2 races as these 2 races were both based in Jerez. But since he looks in phenomenal form and Marc Marquez is out, it looks like no rider right now can compete with Fabio Quartararo. So a brilliant race win by the Frenchman as we round up the 2 rounds in MotoGP. So guys, if you want to check out the race report of these 2 races, you can go ahead and check out in our news section where we post daily news and weekly race reports. You can read about it, go and check out, see all the results and qualifications. Please do that. We'll leave the links below of our news section. Go and check that out. Now that we've discussed the MotoGP races, we move on to the World Superbike race that happened last week, again in Jerez circuit, where after MotoGP, World Superbike was back in action. All the riders were ready to go and attack the circuit. Of course, as you know, unlike MotoGP, World Superbike has 2 races in each round. So it started off fantastically in scorching temperatures, as you know, and race began with Jonathan Rea, who is currently the world champion, making the leap in the front from the pole man Scott Redding. Yes, Scott Redding was in the pole position when the race started, but Jonathan Rea took the lead as the Turkish rider Toprak Razgatlioglu, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, he took the second place after starting the race from 5th on the grid. So the top 3 places were taken up by Scott Redding, Jonathan Rea and Toprak as they began the race in a fantastic manner. As the race progressed, Redding started to show his excellent race pace, the same type of pace that he showed in qualifying, as he passed Toprak Razgatlioglu in lap 11, and he started to apply pressure on Jonathan Ray. Yes, Jonathan Ray was leading at the time. He was leading for a long time, but once Redding got past Toprak, he decided to just go ahead and battle it out for the front top position. Of course, as you know, he had the pace in qualifying and he was showing a tremendous race pace. He was lapping faster than both Jonathan Ray and Toprak, but he was stuck behind the Turkish rider. And once he got through the Turkish rider, he then decided to power up and battle for the first position. Immediately, he got the result that he wanted as he powered past the five-time world champion in lap 14 to claim the lead. As the race progressed, Ray was in second and Toprak was in third position. Redding showed a tremendous amount of race pace as he won the race comfortably. Once he got past Jonathan Ray and he just flew by, took a huge lead and never looked back. He finished the race in top position, and as Ray came in second, as Toprak claimed third position. Chaz Davies made a valiant effort for the third place. He came close before he ran wide. So eventually Chaz Davies finished in fourth. Loris Baz, who was the top independent rider of the pack, he got to fifth place in the race. Michael Ruben Rinaldi came in sixth, with Alvaro Batista finishing in seventh place. Marco Melandri had a tremendous race. He finished in an impressive 8th position as Alex Lowe's finished in 9th. Leon Haslam was 10th ahead of Garrett Gerloff and Christoph Ponson, who finished in crucial point scoring position for the Aprilia team. Yes, Aprilia is back and finally they were able to score some points because of these two riders, and this is a very good sign for a team which was struggling, which was not coping up well with racing, and finally when they got back, it felt good that a high-end manufacturer like Aprilia is back amongst the points. Xavi Forés finished in third position as Sandro Cortese and Eugene Lavati rounded off all the points position in 14th and 15th. Sylvain Bayer, the debutant, Lorenzo Gabellini and his teammate Takumi Takahashi were the last classified runners. Tom Sykes suffered a technical issue as he approached turn 1 in the early stages of the race, which ruled him out of contentions right when the race started in the early period of the race. Michael van der Mark of Pata Yamaha World Superbike official team retired from the race on the lap 8 because a lot of smoke was coming out of his bike, which forced him to retire from race 1 when he was running in 10th place. Federico Cari Casulo suffered a high-speed crash at turn 4, while Leonardo Mercado also suffered a crash at turn 6. So a lot of crashes, a lot of intense battles we saw in the first race of World Superbike, race 1 of the Spanish round. Eventually the race finished with Scott Redding winning the race, Jonathan Ray coming in second, Toprak Razgatlioglu finished third, Chaz Davies finished fourth, Loris Baz came in fifth, and Michael Ruben Rinaldi came in sixth. So it was a fantastic race in soaring temperatures, which saw a lot of drama, a lot of action, and eventually Scott Redding became the man of the moment as he grabbed the first race by its horns, as he won the race and began the weekend in a fantastic manner. Now that the first race was over, it was time for the second race. As you all know, in World Superbike, there are 2 races that happen in one round. So it was time for round 2, race 2, as it began, where thrilling action continued in the second race of the Motul FIM Superbike World Championship in Jerez Circuit. In the opening laps itself, we saw top 6 riders battle it out for the coveted race as Redding made an early pass in the front of the pole man Jonathan Ray to take the first position, while Toprak Razgatlioglu fought his way onto the top 5 positions. Davies took the fight to Ray as he took second positions in the race. Toprak and Alex Lowe's went past Ray, before Lowe's outbreak, which helped Ray to get back to third position. So basically, what happened is, of course, Scott Redding got away. Toprak made a fantastic start of the race as he fought his way to the top 5 positions. Jonathan Ray was riding the race in second position, was passed by both Toprak and Alex Lowe's before Lowe's outbreaked himself, and he had a slide on the edge of the turn, which helped Ray, who went into fourth after they both passed, took back the third position that he lost to Alex Lowe's. Toprak found a way to get past Ray and claim the third position. Scott Redding and Chaz Davies were 1-2 for Ducati as they fought for the top spot. Davies came close to Redding, but Redding made it to the top position in the race and eventually won the race. Both the Ducati riders were riding their bikes brilliantly. Ducati showed some tremendous pace as they showed in the last round. Toprak, the Turkish rider, a phenomenal talent, came in from behind, as you know, to claim the third podium position. He pulled away from Ray and Lowe's as they battled it out for fourth and fifth position, with Michael Ruben Rinaldi, who eventually passed Lowe's to finish in fourth. His joint best World Superbike finish. Lowe's, who was initially riding at a fantastic pace, eventually lost a few positions to finish fifth. Jonathan Ray, a 5-time world champion, who started off the race in second position, eventually was able to finish the race in sixth position, which was a really bad result for the 5-time world champion, ahead of Michael van der Mark of Pata Yamaha World Superbike team, who finished in 7th place. Alvaro Batista finished in 8th position, showed tremendous race pace to finish 10 positions up from 19th on the grid in 9th place. American rider Garrett Gerloff completed the top 10 with Tom Spikes. The highest placed BMW rider finished in 11th place. Leon Haslam, who rides for Team HRC, finished in 12th. Xavi Forest, who rides for Kawasaki Petrucci Racing Team, finished in 13th. Leandro Mercado finished in 14th position. Loris Baz, who was there in the lead group during the early stages of the race, came off his bike on turn 13 on lap 6 to take himself out of contention to earn the top spot in the race. The Frenchman eventually classified in 17th place behind Federico Carcasulo, rider for the GRT Yamaha World Superbike Junior team. Christoph Ponson had a huge crash which led him to not finish the race, along with Takumi Takahashi, who also suffered a crash on lap 6 at turn 5. Eugene Laverty, who is a BMW Motorrad World Superbike team rider, and Sylvain Barrier, they both did not classify for the race too. So it was a action-packed weekend for World Superbike fans and riders. Both the races were intense. The heat was unbearable and the riders were absolutely fiery at the time of the race. So eventually, Scott Redding was the man of the moment as he finished both the races in first position. By the way, if you talk about this race results, Chaz Davies came in second, Scott Redding finished first. Toprak, Turkish rider, came in third. Sorry, I can't pronounce his last name correctly. Maybe you'll help me if you hear the podcast and correct me if you're wrong. Alex Lowe's finished in 5th and Jonathan Ray finished in 6th positions. Now, final standing after the two races, as we talk about two races, was Scott Redding is leading the pack with 98 points. Jonathan Ray is in second position with 74. Alex Lowe's is there in third position with 72. Toprak is on fourth position with 66. Chaz Davies is in fifth position with 57, with Michael van der Mark in sixth position with 47 points. Loris Baz with 37 points is on seventh position. Alvaro Bautista is on 8th position with 37 points. Michael Ruben Rinaldi with 30 points is in 9th position. Leon Haslam with 28 points is in 10th position. Tom Sykes again with 26 points is in 11th position. Marco Melandri with 15 points is in 12th position. Garrett Gerloff with 15 points is in 13th position, with Sandro Cortese in 14th position with 14 points. Xavi Forest with 11 points came in 15th position. Maximilian Schieb, 10 points, came in 16th position. Eugene Laverty with 6 points in 17th position. Christoph Ponson with 4 points is in 18th position. Federico Caricasulo with 4 points in 19th position. And Leonardo Mercado with no points is in 20th position. Manufacturer standings, as we talk about, are in this order. Kawasaki is leading the pack with 100 points. The manufacturer from Japan is in the first position. Ducati, the Italian giant, is in the second position with 98 points. Yamaha, another Japanese giant, is in third position with 86 points. Honda came in fourth. Honda is in fourth position with 41 points. BMW is having a bad season. The German company is in fifth position with 27 points, with Aprilia being sixth positions with 4 points. So this rounds up the racing action. And after this, now we discuss the general news that came out last week from the two-wheeler world. There is continuous racing now with the race almost every weekend, and we'll be able to bring you all the coverage every Thursday in this podcast. So keep tuning in and keep checking out our news section where we keep on updating the race reports and other news from the world of two wheels. So now, with the race report over, we're going to discuss some general news that came out of the two-wheeler world. So first off, we start off with the news about a manufacturer who has been in the limelight recently. So Royal Enfield basically has announced to set up 800 mobile service units. So basically, Royal Enfield had decided that this is a new initiative which they have already started from their showrooms. It's an initiative taken in these times where they're going to have a minor repair service which can be booked from their showrooms. Customers can avail this service where these people will come to your home and service your bike near your home. Basically, it's a mobile service which will be capable of servicing your motorbike at your comfort of your home. So basically, they have been equipped to handle minor repairs, minor testing, basic part replacement, electrical diagnosis. Every sort of important part and equipment can be replaced by these mobile service units. So this is a mobile service that is started by Royal Enfield. So right now they have 800 mobile service units which are attached to several showrooms in different states to help out the customers. If the customer does not want to come to a service center because of the pandemic, they can talk to their dealership, they can talk to their service center. They will offer this service on behalf of Royal Enfield to the customers. So this is a very good initiative. We are also starting a similar sort of service where we're going to have mechanics or mobile unit that can come to your house and give you repair services at the comfort of your home. So do check out their services if you are a Royal Enfield owner. It's basically for Royal Enfield owners, but our service is for every sort of bike owner. So you can check out our service as well once they start. We'll keep on informing you. Follow us on social media to check that news out. In the meanwhile, as Royal Enfield owners, you can check this out. You can avail this service. If you want to get your bike serviced, if you don't want to go to the service station, you can go to them. They'll help you out. They have this service available. So please go ahead and check the Royal Enfield website out. So this was the first news that came out this week. Now the next news that came out last week is a fantastic news for all lovers of a particular bike that I'm going to name, and you'll be really happy. Yes, Mahindra has already launched the new Mojo 300 BS6 edition. The motorbike has a cult following and we love that motorbike. We were very disappointed when Mahindra initially decided to stop the production of the motorbike and break their Mahindra two-wheelers unit. The motorbike is powered by a 294.7cc fuel-injected liquid-cooled engine. It is BS6 compliant, as you know, that's mandatory for 2020. Mahindra has added a catalytic converter to the exhaust to make it BS6 compliant. The bike comes with telescopic fork in the front and monoshock at the back. It has a 320mm braking unit in the front and a 240mm braking unit at the back. The bike is right now available in 4 color schemes: red agate, a black pearl, ruby red and pearl black. The bike is available for a booking amount of 5,000 rupees with delivery set to start soon. The bike will cost you in a range which will start from just under 2 lakh and will go up to 2.11 lakh depending on the type of color option you select. So basically, a good news for all the Mojo fans as Mahindra has launched the BS6 variant of the bike. You can check the details out in mahindramojo.com. It's available. Everything is there. You can book the bike. The deliveries will start soon, and you'll be able to receive the new avatar or the new version of the bike soon. So check this baby out. We will bring you more details when this bike comes out, and if we are able to get our hands on it, we will definitely review this bike for you. This is one of our favorite bikes of all time, and we are so happy that it's back. And do check the Mahindra Mojo website out for more details. So this was the second news that came this week. After that, let's discuss another news, which is the Honda CBR 1000RR-R Fireblade and Fireblade Special Edition, which has been officially opened for booking in India. So these two editions were not available in India. This is a premium offering by Honda two-wheelers, but this is a special unit. I'm going to talk about it. First of all, let me tell you that this is finally here in India. It is a premium offering by Honda. It is sold as a CBU through the big wing showrooms in India, and basically the bike is a premium. It is powered by a 1000cc engine, 4-cylinder liquid cooled engine, which produces 214 HP of power at 14,500 RPM and 113 Nm of torque at 12,500 RPM. So basically, they have launched two models. It's the CBR 1000RR-R and a Fireblade Special Edition. So these two bikes are special editions of this premium bike CBR 1000RR. It has most of the new features like LED lamps, central lamp duct, a brand new better aerodynamic efficiency, which the Honda claims to be equivalent to the 2018 RC2013V MotoGP bike. It has an aluminum chassis, it has a new swing arm, it has a Showa PPF fork in the front and a Showa BFRC light monoshock at the back. It has a Öhlins suspension and an Nissan caliper on the base version, and the SP version has a Brembo caliper for your braking needs. These are fantastic two bikes. This bike has plenty of electronic aids as well. It has a Boss 6-axis IMU, multi-level traction control, ABS, a 5-inch TFT screen, Honda selectable torque control that can be adjusted through 9 levels, and throttle-by-wire technology as well. So basically, this is a premium offering by Honda. It is now available in India. You can check out the big wing showrooms or the website for more details. Check out our social media section and our news section for more updates, and we will bring you the more details once Honda officially releases a press release. So do check the bike out. So after that, final news of this podcast is going to be MV Agusta Brutale 800RR SCS and Dragster 800RR SCS revealed. So basically, MV Agusta revealed two bikes, which is the SCS version of the Brutale and the Dragster 800RR. These bikes are fitted, these are special editions, which are fitted with a SCS clutch system developed by a famous clutch manufacturer called Recluse. The system automatically disengages the clutch when the bike comes to a stop and engages the clutch when it goes again. So it gives you automatic support where you don't need to release the clutch all the time. You don't need to get the clutch back onto its prime position. The clutch automatically comes to a stop, automatically shifts to its normal position once the rider stops, and it disengages once the rider stops, and it engages once the rider goes again. So it is an automatic system which is beneficial for the rider. This is a fantastic addition, add-on to have in an extremely brilliant MV Agusta Brutale. If you want SCS system, it's available for 1,000 euros more, as right now it is only available in European market. So once it arrives in India, we will keep you posted, we'll keep you informed, and we'll tell you the price and the details about the system. So a fantastic achievement by MV Agusta, releasing another add-on to the two brilliant bikes, MV Agusta Brutale and the Dragster. So as this was a weekly roundup of the main news which was there last week, every Thursday we'll release a podcast where we'll tell you about the stories and the weekly news. So keep following our podcast. Look out for this podcast if you want the latest news and highlights of the week. For more details, you can always check out our news section where we talk about these things in detail, where we We mention all these things in detail. You can check out more news, events. We have a lot of content available in our website. So please go and check out our website for more content. And we have a YouTube channel called Motorcycle TV. You can go and check that channel out. Please do follow us on social media. Follow this channel, like and comment. We'll keep on improving as we move along. Now that we have decided to make it episodes a week channel, we will keep on bringing you new episodes as we promised every Tuesday and Thursday. So do keep checking out our podcast, which is called Motorcycle Podcast. You can look it up in any of your favorite motorcycle platforms. We are everywhere. If you want, you can check out our podcast in Alexa as well. We have the Alexa support for this podcast as well. So guys, now that we have finished the podcast episode, before we go, we always say, ride safe, always wear a protective and safety gear, and ride everywhere, but after the pandemic. So guys, with that positive message, we take your leave. I take your leave. We'll bring you more episodes. The next episode is coming on Tuesday, where we'll discuss a very important topic. So see you on Tuesday. Till then, I'm Saurabh and I am signing off. Bye.